I wanted to do a video on Caleb's birth story. I'm a little bummed that we didn't do videos when Dave and I were married and found out we were pregnant. I didn't really do videos during my pregnancy, and we didn't video the birth. We do have a lot of pictures, but I'm a little bummed that we didn't document the journey. I had a very easy pregnancy with him. I'm so grateful for that. And I wasn't very sick. I didn't experience a lot of the symptoms that a lot of people have, and I kept thinking, like, this pregnancy is a breeze. I don't know why people complain so much about being sick, because I felt a little nauseous in the evenings, but you know, I ate pasta, I ate cereal, I ate crackers, a lot of carbohydrates, and by morning I felt great again. So I went to work, everything was going smoothly. I actually went to a clinic. They were looking for like test subjects, I guess you could call it. They needed to get their training and their hours in before they could become certified. So I actually went there a little bit before my 20-week anatomy scan through my doctor, and she was able to tell me the gender. I was so excited. Dave and I both thought girl, because we have a lot of girls on both sides of our families, especially being the first child. So we both went in thinking, oh, you don't even have to tell us, it's a girl, we know it's a girl. And the tech was scanning, and actually at first she didn't know she would be able to find out the gender because the baby's spine was facing forward, so he was facing the wrong way. So I was like, oh, I want him to turn. So she had me lay a couple different ways, and she kept looking, and then she went, oh, I know the gender. And I thought right away it must be a boy because of the way she said it, and sure enough, he was a boy. And when she said that, I just started to cry. Truthfully, we didn't care what gender we were having. We just wanted a healthy baby, and everything checked out, and he was healthy, and it was wonderful. And then we went to our 20-week scan, and the tech asked me if I wanted to know the gender, and I said, well, I think I already know, but I'm not going to tell you. You tell me what you think the baby is. And right away she looked and she said, I really hope they told you it's a boy. And I said they did, and she said he is definitely a boy, and she gave me pictures, and sure enough, he's a boy. We were so excited when we found out. We went shopping, we bought some stuff for him. A lot of the car seat and stroller and things, we knew we wanted more than one child, so we tried to go gender neutral. But when I had my baby shower and people found out we were having a boy, we did get a lot of blues and greens and browns. About 36, 37 weeks, I was kind of done being pregnant. I wanted to meet him. I wanted him to be here. Each week that I went in for my appointment, it was like a little bit of a letdown, like, yes, I'm still pregnant. And the doctor told me, like, you can't rush these things. He's gonna come on his own time, and of course I know that. At 39 weeks and 4 days, I said to Dave at midnight, I'm ready to have this baby. I think he's coming. So about actually 10 p.m. when I first started to feel more contractions, but they were pretty far apart. I wasn't in that much pain, so I kind of let it ride until about midnight. I woke Dave up. I said, okay, I think it's time. We sat on the couch in our apartment for about 2 to 3 hours, timing them, talking with the doctor. Should we come in? Should we not come in? The doctor said when they get to between 5 and 7 minutes apart consistently, come on in, we'll check you. And that was about 3 a.m. on March the 9th. And so we packed our stuff, we went in, they checked me, they said, I see that your contractions are consistently 5 minutes apart, but you're only 1 centimeter dilated. So why don't you walk around the hospital, see how you feel. So I walked around. I consistently had contractions 4 and 5 minutes apart. The doctor came in and checked me a couple times between about 3 a.m. and about 8 or 9 a.m. and I was still at 1 centimeter. So they sent me home, and I live a half an hour from the hospital, so I was kind of bummed, and I didn't want to hear that I was going home. I wanted to have my baby. So they sent me home, and the contractions immediately picked up. I was only home for about 3 hours when we went back, and I was in a lot of pain, and they checked me, and the nurse said, "You're 3 centimeters. I don't know what happened in that 3 hours, but you're 3 centimeters. You're here to stay. You won't leave without your baby." I was really excited. So I was feeling a lot of pain, but I was really excited to have the baby. So the nurse checked me in. They told me, "Just so you know, it takes about an hour once you say you want an epidural." So I said, "Okay, I'm gonna stick it out as long as I can." And Dave and I walked the hospital halls for one lap, and I couldn't do it anymore. I said, "I want the epidural." Nurse came in and prepped me and got the anesthesiologist. Sure enough, he gave me the epidural. I think they gave me too much. I was completely numb from my toes to my chest. The doctor said, "I know you're here to stay, but it might be a little while, so try to get some sleep." And they kind of ushered everyone out of the room. I couldn't sleep. I was so incredibly nauseous, and the room would not stop spinning. I definitely reacted to the epidural. It was not good. I was just so sick. It was horrible. The nurse came in and she said, "We're gonna break your water. Hopefully that'll speed things up a little bit." I had a couple people in the room with me. I think my mother-in-law was there, my sister was there, and Dave obviously was there. But once they broke my water, Dave made the huge mistake of looking, thinking it was literally just water, and he almost passed out. He turned so white that the doctor actually asked him to leave the room. So he did, and he was gone for a little bit. But once they broke my water, the contractions really did pick up. I was there for quite a while before I made some serious progress to about 6 or 7 centimeters. But as time went on, I got sicker and sicker. The epidural just wiped me out. I couldn't eat anything, so I hadn't eaten for probably a good 18 hours. I hadn't slept in I don't even know how long, because those contractions originally started at 10 p.m. So I didn't get any sleep that night, and now we're rolling on to Saturday night. I was exhausted. All this said and done, I had about 26 hours of labor with him. Couldn't feel anything. When the doctor told me I was 10 centimeters and had to push, I literally could not feel a thing. So they were trying to coach me through when to push. It was a very, very rough delivery. He was actually sunny side up, so I was having a tremendously difficult time getting him to come down. And even though I was 10 centimeters, he just wasn't working. I was actually throwing up with the contractions and the pushing. At this point, I was purely running on adrenaline. I was so exhausted. I was so tired. And after 3 hours, yes, 3 hours of pushing, I finally looked at the nurse and I said, "I can't do this anymore. I need this baby out." And she kept telling me, "You're so close, you're so close. He's right there. I see his head." And I thought, "You said that 3 hours ago. I can't do this anymore." She said, "Do you want me to get the doctor and help with the vacuum?" And I thought, "Oh, yes, this would have been helpful 3 hours ago." So she did get the doctor. The doctor told me I would have to actually push even harder with the vacuum, and within 15 minutes he was out. The doctor actually said, "Did you know this baby was sunny side up?" And I said, "Well, of course I knew. The nurse told me several times." She said, "Do you know that most people with sunny side up babies have a C-section?" I'm very surprised that you delivered him vaginally, because he was stuck. But he was here. We were happy. The baby was out. I was tired. All I wanted to do was sleep, but of course, once you have a baby, they have to clean him off and weigh him, and he laid on my chest for a while, and I just bawled my eyes out. I couldn't believe he was here. He's my first baby. They weighed him. He was 8 pounds exactly. So he wasn't a huge baby, but he wasn't tiny by any means. He actually came at 1:50 a.m. Sunday morning, and that was the morning of daylight savings. So we like to joke with him that even though he was only 2 hours, he was really 3 hours old, because we jumped forward. So he was born on March 10th, 2013, just 2 days before my due date. We're just totally in love. We fell in love with him the second we saw him. I nursed him. He nursed great. He laid on me. We moved rooms and went into recovery. Everything went pretty swimmingly and we were pretty happy with the experience. The only concern the doctor had was his bilirubin levels. He did seem a bit jaundiced, and actually after we brought him home, after the 2 days, we actually went to the ER and brought him back because he was turning pretty yellow, and they did say that his levels were elevated and that we were going to have to kind of put him by the window by the sunlight, but thankfully everything came down like normal and he was fine. But I couldn't have asked for a better hospital stay. The birth and the delivery was very, very rough. And I knew that for my second baby that I was going to have to do something differently, because with the epidural making me so sick, I could not focus on pushing. I could not focus on the actual labor and breathing, and I couldn't feel anything, and it took a really long time for the epidural to wear off, like way longer than it should have. Overall, I was very pleased. I had a very easy pregnancy, all things considered. I was not very sick. The only thing that really bothered me toward the end was my ankles being so swollen, and that's very common in pregnancy. So all things considered, I did not have diabetes. I was not nauseous or throwing up. Everything went great. We had everything set up in time, and we had this beautiful baby boy, and we were so excited. And we named him Caleb. Dave and I both had names that we liked better individually, but this was the name that we both agreed on that we liked the most. So we named him Caleb. We wanted a biblical name, and his middle name is John, and that's actually after my dad. And we also like it because it's biblical, but my dad didn't have any boys, so he was very honored that we used his name for Caleb's middle name. So Caleb John. I look back and I smile the day he made me a mom.